Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Young women who are constantly left in the talking stage, how do you deal with feeling as if you are not good enough to date? Mod note, blocked due to rampant rule breaking. Thank you to those who participated within the rules. Please report all rule breaking. I think it's important not to have your self-worth tied to other people's actions. People are in relationships willingly. If they don't want to be in a relationship, that's fine. If they string people along, that's their own issue to address. I'll be honest, I've just given up. This sounds cliche, but my main focus is to focus on myself, what I want, what makes me happy. And that doesn't include a man anymore. Why do you like these men? What is it about them that makes you disappointed you didn't end up in the boyfriend/girlfriend stage? The biggest mistake I made, when I was younger, and I see other young women making, is becoming so obsessed with why doesn't he like me, that they don't put any thought into why they want to be with these guys. What is it that makes it disappointing that things didn't go any further? Is he really that great? Do you actually like him as a person, or do you just like the attention he's giving you, or the idea of having a boyfriend? Most talking doesn't become dating. Most dating doesn't become marriage. Most relationships end. These are facts. I don't say this to depress you, but to point out that failing to get to the next level is just a normal part of dating. It just means that you are not right for each other. Move on, and make sure you are doing as much thinking about why you want to date these men as you are thinking about why they might not like you that way. This is so common, and it's modern day dating, unfortunately. It happens to literally everyone, regardless of how attractive/intelligent/funny etc. you are. So please don't let it make you feel like you're not good enough. Some of my most beautiful female friends are single and get treated like dirt by men. I think the reason it happens is because meeting someone from a dating app isn't organic and your lives aren't intertwined. My past successful relationships have been with people I've met via friends. The talking stage can be misconstrued as someone actively pursuing commitment, when really they are just trying to get to know you. Everyone also has a million options, so it's not that they want someone better than you, they just aren't ready to stop exploring those options. It's also way easier to cut someone off when you don't have mutual friends. My attitude, and this might not be right but whatever, is to not assume any kind of commitment until it officially happens. I don't discuss it unless they bring it up, and don't overthink a situation. I see dating as an extension of my social life. I get to go for drinks with some fun people, a bit of romance and sex, absolutely zero expectations. If I feel myself starting to be in a situation that could hurt me, I try and back away, and I will block that person the second they do something I'm not comfortable with. In the past I've tried to talk through these issues, but it normally happens with a certain type of man, who will just lie and lead you on, or just ghost. Trust actions, not words. Yes, you will get hurt a few times, but it's impossible to avoid. Are you comfortable with a FWB situation? If you are, then just enjoy it while it lasts. And if not, don't be afraid to say so. My dating life got a lot more fun when I shifted my attitude from looking for a boyfriend to trying to hang out with fun people. And I'm sure one day, one of them will be right for me. I'd much rather them take a hike early, honestly. Are you looking specifically for a relationship and getting suckered in by people who are only looking to get laid? A lot of guys will gladly take a FWB situation, but you don't have to go there. You control what happens or doesn't. You communicate what you want. So what, it gets down to a numbers game that is part of the process, not something to necessarily feel bad about. Out of so many guys you meet, a certain percentage will filter through a date, another percentage of these will turn into a series of dates, and if it keeps going and everyone acknowledges, we're boyfriend/girlfriend, right? It can suck when these progression fails to materialize multiple times, but hang in there, timing plays a big part. You stop putting effort into guys who are emotionally unavailable. The problem is not that you're asking too much, but that they don't have enough to offer. Never been in a relationship because I can't get out of the talking stage. For a brief period when I was a little younger, until I was mature enough to understand, yes, I thought I was not good enough, but then I realized that it wasn't about me being good enough for those past guys I tried with. Really, every single one of them had their issues. Either they were not ready, immature as hell, we were not compatible in the end. Communication issues, just downright bad character qualities, where I'm From nobody's looking for a relationship, which makes it harder, but right now I know I need to work on myself before God will allow a relationship in my life. And I don't even think I was all that good of a hookup back then, because sex was never that serious to me, which is why this time around I refuse to sleep with any guy until marriage, because I'm officially burned out and can't preform sexually, because if my emotions are not aligned I can't do it, my body won't allow me to do it. I am mature enough to know it does not matter how successful you are, how pretty you are, how funny, understanding, has their life together, being the fun person. If a guy is not ready to be in a relationship, he simply isn't. I felt like this when I was 16. I would get stuck in talking phase, and I remember recognizing that I wrongly put being claimed as someone's girlfriend on a pedestal, but didn't really know how to change it. Then I accidentally lost 15 pounds, and was pleasantly surprised how drastically better my face looked, and I went to a music festival where I vibed with this guy all day. He asked if I wanted to go have sex after hours of hanging, and I responded saying maybe later. We hung out the rest of the day, but never got around to sex. The next day of the festival I texted him to link up, but he didn't. I didn't think he was a jerk for that, because everyone's on drugs with their own friends, and it's very common to not get a response. However, I was super happy I didn't have sex with him, because I would have been sad if I had gone that far, and then he didn't respond to me. When I realized this, something just kinda clicked in my head, like, oh, this is what self-esteem is. Protecting yourself and putting your comfort first. I still had low self-esteem, but drastically more than before, and I got a boyfriend a week after this incident. I've never had a problem with being stuck in talking phase since, and have turned down many guys' offers to commit to me. Not all of them were good guys, bad guys can still offer to commit. If you're having this problem, it's not because you're not good enough, you probably don't realize you are value, and that attracts bums/parasites/predators who will treat you like this. As other people have said, your self-worth shouldn't be tied to anyone else's actions. But at the same time, if you want a boyfriend, why are you letting yourself get pulled into a FWB situation? Again, you obviously can't control other people's actions, but you can control your own. You can choose to wait until a relationship is established to have sex. This will avoid becoming FWB. But it also means having guys drop away when they realize you're slow to sleep with someone. If you are okay with that, you will put less effort into guys who will never want what you want. But I don't understand how you are meeting people's families without being in an established relationship. Particularly when you say this has happened more than once. I would never be interested in meeting a non-boyfriend's family. This is probably the most painful thing I can really read. My wife approached me and asked me out, back in high school. She has described being constantly attracted to guys that never reciprocated. Actually, she's always been a curvy, full-figured female, and she's never had success with romance. So I am happy to say that I helped her break this streak. Why do I feel so guilty that she's never been pursued in the manner I feel like she deserves? We've been married for over 20 years now. We've struggled, but I'm glad that she's a part of my life. If I could give you advice, please don't allow some of us dumbbells, stupid guys, to dull your spirit. Good luck, be courageous and brave. Not in that age range, but I see it as they aren't right for me. I was stuck in the talking stage with a guy for 9 months, and I finally asked him why he wouldn't just date me. He told me he didn't know why, and I decided not to sit around waiting on a man to find me good enough to date anymore, and I stopped talking to him. I then spent the next couple of months focusing on my own self-confidence and self-worth instead of trying to seek out men that would date me. Around 4 to 5 months later, I found the love of my life, and we have been together for 9 months on January 17th. I think that you should focus on you and don't worry about if anyone wants to date you or not, because the one for you will come around. Maybe they will come when you're least expecting it, smiley face. Please don't feel any less about yourself because of someone else's choice to not date you, because you are enough no matter what. Well, first off, FWB situations are a hard pass for me. Next, I don't tie my self-worth to other people. I know, easier said than done, but doing otherwise is a recipe for a mental breakdown. I try and keep it simple. A potential partner has to A, like me, and B, want to be with me. If that criteria is not me, then they are not right for me, and I try to focus on that. It's not about not being good enough for them, because if they don't want to be with me, then they're not good enough for me. I consider it incompatibly. I'm also one to ask for dates, which will send the skittish running. I'm now an engaged woman, but I will tell you how I got out of the talking stage. I was upfront with what I wanted, and I put a mental deadline on it. It depended on the guy, but it usually was within a couple of months that I'd give them. It never really lasted that long, to be honest. Know what you want, what you're worth, and don't let people waste your time. Don't settle for just talking forever or being a FWB just to keep someone around. Don't be afraid to kick them to the curb. After many years of heartache on account of being friend-zoned, i.e., put on the back burner for the occasional ego boost, and intermittently ghosted, I finally learned that the only reason I felt disposable was because I kept throwing so much of my energy at men who treat most women as disposable. Their behavior wasn't a reflection of me at all. It was a reflection of their need to keep their emotional biosphere on lockdown, no matter how many truly caring women they hurt. The only worthy woman, if such a woman exists, is the woman who ignores him. I.e., an emotionally unavailable woman who treats him the same way he treats most women. This is not to blame evil men. I definitely had agency and initiative of my own in that pattern of behaviors. And ultimately, I was pretty emotionally unavailable myself. What I've learned is to flip the script totally. Do not put up with less than respectful behavior. Go radio silence when he takes you for granted. Use your anger to build better boundaries. No explanations. And mean it. No ruminating on whether or not you've been too harsh or how injured he secretly feels. He isn't. No secretly hoping he realizes what he's lost. No fantasizing about a dramatic change of heart. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.